Games that should make a baby.
Sometimes two games just love each other and then they want to turn on some Marvin Gaye and let's get it on. There are some games that just need to get together and make a baby, and they'd be like the best of both worlds. What game would be perfect? If you took Tenshu, probably the best ninja stealth game ever, and you combine it with the X chromosome of Resident Evil, and you make the perfect zombie game. Like, the first few Resident Evil games were amazing. It was really like, it was a survival horror game. But what if you had to like sneak around an area? Because, come on, if you get the attention of one zombie, all of a sudden you have a swarm on you. In Tenshu, you might have like a rice paddy and you'd see like a guard, so you'd be like, I need to get him out of that light. So you throw the rice paddy, he'd walk on over, then you sneak behind him and you kill him. Now think of that with a zombie. You're like, oh man, I really want to kill that zombie, but I don't want to use this gun. So what if I throw this hand I found, and all of a sudden the zombie's like, he goes to eat it, then all of a sudden you take your hammer and you're bam, right in the back of the head. Stealth zombie game. Awesome. Awesome.
Games that should make a baby. First of all, I don't approve game-on-game sexuality. I think it's wrong and dirty, and I don't think games should be doing that in the privacy of their own storage containers. How about Metal Warriors and Battlefield 3? Now, what Metal Warriors was an old school mech combat game. What I really liked about Metal Warriors was how diverse the mechs were and how they moved differently and stuff. Some of them could fly, and some of them had super powerful one moves, but then the rest of their moves were really weak. They were just very customizable, and you could hop in and hop out of them and run to a different mech and get back in, which is something I want to see. Titanfall may do something like this, but the problem with Titanfall is their mechs are kind of stupid. They're those stupid mechs that are just like a person holding a gun. They're kind of generic. I mean, it's still going to be a great game, but I would really like to see the Metal Warriors mechs put into like a 3D Frostbite engine, and there's a one guy who's got like the rollerblades that goes really fast. He'd be like zipping around the city, and the guy with the lightsaber would come down and attack him. It would be an awesome game. Yeah, someone needs to make Metal Warriors with the Frostbite engine.
So this week, this coming Friday, actually, is Valentine's Day. It's love is in the air, and we thought, what would be an appropriate topic for Valentine's Day? Games that should make a baby. Games that should do a little sweet lovemaking and produce some sort of awesome baby game child. Two off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with Borderlands and Battlefield. Borderlands is a fun game. It's pretty cool. The writing is good, but the thing that sticks out the most to me is that there's no real multiplayer. Yes, you can play with some of your friends and go quest for loot and stuff, but why not make that game just like a straight up MMO? So just have servers where like a couple hundred people could be on it searching for loot and stuff and doing missions, and it would be fucking sweet, especially with the Frostbite 2 engine. And then you'd have PvP aspects as well. You'd be competing over the same objectives. So it'd be cool to be able to encounter other players in that environment, especially because you're like an arc hunter, right? You're trying to find the sweet, sweet loots. And what's cooler than finding sweet, sweet loots from NPCs is battling other people for it. Pretty much take the writers of Borderlands 2, the like graphics slash, whatever team from Battlefield, and then make a sweet, sweet baby. The employees don't have to make babies, just the games.
Games that should make a baby.
Want to know what there's not enough of? Kart racers. Actually, that's not a true statement at all. You got Mario Kart, Crash Kart, Sonic Kart, Pac-Man Kart, Namco in arcades. But what if Halo and Mario Kart got it on and had a little kart racing baby? In the Halo universe, there are so many cool vehicles. You got the Puma, the Warthog. It's not the Puma. That's a red versus blue joke right there. The little ATV thing, the Ghost. There's so many vehicles. And like, obviously, it's like, oh, you can't race a Ghost versus a Warthog. The Ghost is always gonna win. Well, that's why we're making like Super Bombad Racing. How like all of the cars were just the same thing with giant bobbleheads right at the top. So you can have a little Master Chief driving a Ghost. Everyone's head just popping up at the top of the vehicles. You got Nathan Fillion driving his little ATV. It'd be great. And the grunts. Come on, you have to have one of the characters like the grunt. He'd be like the Toad of Mario Kart. But every time you throw like maybe a sticky grenade at him or you shoot him with a missile, you hear like the yay sound effect, because that was the best part of Halo 3, was having like destroying grunts and hearing people cheer. And you take that aspect, you put it in a Mario Kart universe, and you can't go wrong with that.
Games that should make a baby. So Aliens vs. Predator was kind of a universally critically panned game. Critics didn't like it, the fans didn't really like it. I think who could really make a good AVP game, like just all multiplayer, who better than Valve, makers of Team Fortress? And it wouldn't be as cartoony as Team Fortress, but that kind of just servers always going, you know, and like customization and stuff. You could build like cool predators with like special green glowing armor and shit, and like, well, you don't want to glow too much because you'll get taken out, but like that type of game only with AVP. And then instead of like 2 sides like in Team Fortress, it would always be 3 sides going against each other. So you could jump on, instead of red team or blue team, aliens, predators, or marines. And I think Valve could really handle that game well if they like bought the property or got the rights to it or something. It was still fun even though it wasn't executed that well. I'd love to see what a great company could do with it.
There was a game that came out a long, long time ago. It was called Star Wars: The Masters of Teras Kasi. It was a Star Wars fighting game. And at the time, it was pretty cool. If you go back and play it, it's pretty lame. It's kind of a weird Tekken, but Star Wars. What I want Star Wars mixed with Mortal Kombat. So the 2D fighting style, the very brutal, like in-your-face, just disgusting and just downright dirty combat, and then like awesome fatalities, but mixed with Star Wars. So you got bounty hunters in there, you got Jedi, you can do like, you know, like dark side sorcerers and like the Emperor, like all the things you love about Star Wars. And then in a fighting game, you could have like, you know, thermal detonators from the bounty hunters and stuff. It would be sweet. It'd be a sweet ass fighting game, and I can just imagine like the really cool fatalities, and we just like crush their throat, and then their head just like limply falls to the side, and then you drop them down on the ground. That would be awesome. Basically, I want the brutality of Mortal Kombat and the fighting system mixed with basically a reskin. Just put some Star Wars in there. That's all I really want, is Jedis fighting bounty hunters, and bounty hunters somehow winning. Because Jedis are like the Superman of the Star Wars universe. Let's be real. Someone needs to put in their place with flamethrowers or something.
Man, I want video games to make babies more than I want to have babies. And that might be why I'm single, because I'm getting that age where the women, they're like, I want to sit down and have kids. I'm like, no, video games have to have kids before I have kids.
Laser corn, obviously, I think most of you guys know where it comes from. If not, I'm gonna have to show the tattoo, aren't I? I do have a laser corn tattoo. Is it visible?